She was supposed to say, "I do." But instead, she ran barefoot through the rainy streets of Chicago in a wedding dress. When Lila begs a complete stranger to hide her, her world collides with Ethan, a quiet photographer who never expected to become her lifeline. What starts as a shocking escape turns into a fight for freedom, truth, and self-respect. But when Martin Hale's powerful family comes hunting, will Layla stay hidden or rise and fight back? An arranged marriage, a runaway bride, a second chance at life. Watch till the end, because this story turns into a public war against power and lies. Subscribe now to Color Off Stories for more real-life inspired emotional dramas. It was a rainy Sunday afternoon in downtown Chicago. Ethan Blake, a 28-year-old freelance photographer, had just finished a photo shoot at Grant Park. With his camera slung over his shoulder and a steaming cup of black coffee in hand, he headed toward the nearest train station to get back home. The streets were relatively empty, except for the occasional cab and the soft drizzle falling from the gray sky. As Ethan turned the corner onto Monroe Street, he saw something odd. A woman in a full white wedding dress sprinting down the sidewalk, barefoot, her veil flying behind her like a kite. Before he could process what was happening, she darted toward him. "Please," she said, breathless and wide-eyed. "Let me hide under your jacket. Just for a second. Please." Ethan blinked, confused. "What?" She didn't wait for his permission. She yanked his jacket open and ducked beneath it, pressing herself into his side. Her heart was pounding so loudly he could hear it. Seconds later, two men in tuxedos ran past them, shouting. She went that way. Ethan instinctively turned his head in the opposite direction and pointed. That way. Toward Michigan Avenue. The men didn't hesitate. They sprinted down the street, disappearing into the rain. Underneath the jacket, the woman let out a shaky breath. "Thank you. I didn't know what else to do." Ethan looked down at her. She was soaked, shaking, and absolutely stunning. "Mind telling me what's going on?" he asked. "I'm Layla Carter," she said quietly. "And I just ran out on my own wedding." Ethan led Layla into the nearest coffee shop, a cozy little place called Bean and Ink. She kept the jacket tightly wrapped around her shoulders, her wet dress trailing behind her. The barista gave them a curious glance, but said nothing as they took a seat at a corner table. Ethan handed her a napkin. "You're shivering." "Here." "Thanks," Layla whispered, dabbing her face. Ethan sat across from her. "So, Layla Carter, mind telling me why you ran out on your own wedding?" She hesitated, staring into her cup of tea. "Because I was about to marry a man I didn't love. My parents arranged it. It was more of a business deal than a wedding." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "And you didn't think to say no before the big day?" "I tried," she said, eyes hardening. "But no one listened. They thought I was being dramatic. Said I was lucky to have someone like Martin Hale, rich, successful, respected. But not the guy you love?" She shook her head. "Not even close." I felt like I was being sold off. There was silence between them for a moment. Ethan studied her. She was bold, no doubt, running away like that, asking a stranger for help. "What were you planning to do after running?" he asked. I didn't get that far." Layla laughed bitterly. "I just knew I had to get out. I left my phone at the venue. I have no money. No plan. Just this stupid dress and wet feet." Ethan leaned back, considering. "Well, you clearly need help. You can crash at my place for the night. It's nothing fancy, but it's dry." She looked up, surprised. "Why are you helping me?" Ethan smiled slightly. "Honestly, I don't know. Maybe because you trusted me without knowing me. Or maybe because this feels like the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm curious where it goes." Layla gave a soft laugh. "That makes two of us." Ethan's apartment was on the second floor of an old brick building in Lincoln Park. It wasn't much, just a one-bedroom with creaky floors and a leaky faucet, but it was warm and safe. He handed Layla a clean hoodie and a pair of sweatpants. "These might be a little big," he said, "but they're dry." Layla laughed. After running barefoot in a wet wedding dress, "I'll take anything." She changed in the bathroom and returned with her long blonde hair tied in a messy bun. She looked completely different. No veil, no makeup, just a tired woman with a story Ethan didn't yet know. He made them grilled cheese sandwiches and poured 2 glasses of orange juice. They sat cross-legged on the couch, plates in their laps. So, Ethan said, "Tell me everything." Layla exhaled. "I grew up in Lake Forest. Private schools. Nannies. Social clubs. My family owns Carter Interiors, huge in real estate and luxury design." Ethan nodded. "And Martin Hale? He's the son of a hotel magnate. Our parents thought merging the families would create some sort of empire. I met him 5 months ago. He's cold, controlling. I tried to get out twice, but every time I did, my mother would cry and my father would say I was embarrassing them. And today, they told me to stop acting like a child. Said I had a duty." Ethan frowned. "That's not marriage. That's imprisonment." Layla looked at him, surprised. "Exactly. But you're the first person who said that out loud." A silence settled between them, comfortable, thoughtful. Outside, the rain still pattered against the windows. "Do you think they're looking for you right now?" Ethan asked. "Oh, I'm sure they are," she said. "My mother's probably spinning a story for the press while Martin is shouting at someone for letting me escape. And you're okay with that?" "I don't know yet," she admitted. "But I know I'm not going back." Ethan looked at her, really looked at her, and felt something stir. Not romance, not yet. But something real. Something honest. "Then you'll stay here until you figure it out," he said. "One day at a time." Layla smiled. "Thank you, Ethan." The next morning, Ethan found Layla curled up on the couch, still wearing his hoodie. The sunlight streamed in through the blinds, painting golden lines across her face. For a moment, it felt like she belonged there, like the chaos of yesterday had somehow woven her into his life overnight. She stirred. "Morning," she said groggily. "You hungry?" "Starving." Ethan tossed her an apple and a granola bar. "Breakfast of champions." She laughed as she caught them. "What a 5-star hotel you run here." But the light mood shifted when a sharp knock echoed from the front door. Layla froze. "You think it's them?" Ethan looked through the peephole cautiously. A tall woman in a black suit was standing outside. Elegant, composed, and clearly not a neighbor. "That's not a delivery guy," he muttered. "Stay here." He cracked the door open. "Can I help you?" The woman smiled tightly. "Mr. Ethan Blake?" "Yeah. My name is Victoria Hale. I'm Martin's sister." Ethan's grip on the door tightened. "He sent you?" "No. I came on my own." "May I come in?" Ethan hesitated but opened the door just enough to let her inside. Layla stood behind him, her expression unreadable. Victoria stepped in slowly. "Layla," she said with a surprising gentleness, "I'm not here to drag you back. I just want to talk." Layla narrowed her eyes. "Why should I believe that?" Victoria sighed. "Because I was once in your shoes, and no one came for me." That quieted the room. "I saw the way Martin treated you. You think I don't know how he is? He's a control freak, a bully. But he's also the face of the Hale name now. My parents buried everything to protect him, just like yours did." Layla looked stunned. "So you're, what, here to help?" Victoria nodded. "If you're serious about not going back, I can get you out of the city. Somewhere safe. Somewhere he won't find you." Ethan frowned. "And why would you do that?" "Because she's brave enough to do what I couldn't," Victoria said, glancing at Layla. "And maybe because I've had enough of watching my brother ruin lives." Layla looked at Ethan, torn. Should I trust her? Ethan didn't answer right away. But he saw the fire in Victoria's eyes, the same fire he saw in Layla yesterday. "It's your choice," he said quietly. "But whatever you decide, I've got your back." Layla sat on the edge of Ethan's bed, holding a cup of tea she hadn't touched. Victoria stood by the window, arms crossed, gaze fixed on the street below as if expecting her brother to storm the building at any moment. "I need to understand something," Layla finally said. "Why now? Why help me today of all days?" Victoria turned, her expression somber. "Because today you reminded me of the girl I used to be before I let our families silence me. You ran. I didn't. I've lived with that choice for 15 years. Ethan leaned against the doorframe, watching them both. "You said you could get her out of the city. How?" "There's a driver waiting on the north side. No one knows him. He owes me a favor. We can get you on a train tonight. New ID, new start. But it's a now or never kind of deal." Layla looked between them. "And what happens if I run?" Won't Martin come after me harder? Victoria nodded. Probably. He's obsessed with power. Losing you makes him look weak. That's his biggest fear. Ethan spoke up. Then maybe you shouldn't run. Both women looked at him. He stepped forward. I mean, what if you stayed? Not with me forever. I don't mean that, but just long enough to fight back. Make it public. Tell the truth. You don't owe them silence. Layla's hands tightened around the teacup. You think anyone would believe me over him? I'd believe you, Ethan said simply. And I'm guessing others would too. Victoria hesitated. It's risky. Going public means opening old wounds. But it could work, especially with media interest already circling the story. Ethan nodded. If we shine a light on who Martin really is, you won't have to hide. You can take your life back. Layla stood, pacing slowly. My parents will disown me. Martin will smear me. I'll lose everything. You'll gain yourself, Victoria said softly. There was a long silence. Then Layla took a deep breath. Okay, no more hiding. Let's fight. The following day, Layla sat in front of a microphone in the back room of a local podcast studio. The host, a journalist named Nora Jennings, had agreed to do a live interview after Victoria pulled some strings through an old college contact. You sure about this? Ethan asked, adjusting the mic for her. Layla nodded. I have to do it. If I don't speak, Martin controls the story. Victoria stood nearby, arms folded. Just tell the truth. That's all you have to do. As the red light turned on and the host gave the signal, Nora's voice came through the headphones. Welcome to City Pulse. I'm Nora Jennings, and today's guest is Layla Carter, a woman whose name has suddenly exploded across social media for a very unexpected reason. Layla, thanks for being here. Thank you, Layla said, steadying her voice. And thank you for letting me speak. Nora leaned forward. So let's start with the question on everyone's mind. You were supposed to marry Martin Hale yesterday. What happened? Layla took a deep breath. I ran. There was a pause. Then she continued, her voice growing stronger. I ran because I was being forced into a life I didn't choose. My engagement was arranged by my family and Martin's as a business alliance. From the outside, it looked glamorous. But behind closed doors, it was control, manipulation, and pressure. And Martin, he wasn't the man people think he is. Nora blinked, surprised. Are you saying? I'm saying Martin Hale is abusive, Layla said, her voice sharp now. Emotionally, mentally, sometimes physically. But it's all hidden behind charm and wealth. He wanted a wife he could control, not a partner. Victoria's expression hardened. Ethan's fists clenched. Why are you coming forward now? Nora asked. Because I'm done being silent, Layla said. I want women who feel trapped like I did to know that they can walk away. Even when it's terrifying. Even when everyone says you can't. Nora paused, then looked directly at the camera. That's a brave thing to do, Layla. Thank you for trusting us with your story. After the recording ended, the team sat in stunned silence. Victoria pulled Layla into a hug. You did it. You really did it. Outside the studio, Ethan was waiting by the curb with his jacket in hand. He smiled when he saw her. You didn't just run from your wedding, he said. You ran straight into your own power. Layla laughed, finally feeling light. Not alone, though. No, Ethan said. Not alone. The podcast episode dropped at noon. By 2 p.m., Layla's name was trending on social media. By 5 p.m., every major media outlet in Chicago and a few national ones were replaying clips from the interview. Some called her a hero. Others accused her of exaggeration. But the truth was out. Layla sat on Ethan's couch, watching the news in silence. Her phone buzzed nonstop, texts from strangers, offers for more interviews, even support messages from women who said her story gave them courage. Then came the statement from the Hale family. We are deeply saddened by the misleading and damaging claims made by Miss Carter. Martin Hale has always conducted himself with integrity and respect. We will be pursuing legal action against the false accusations being spread. Victoria threw the remote across the room. Lies. Classic Hale family strategy. Deny, threaten, bury. Layla looked at Ethan. What do we do now? Ethan answered without hesitation. We go bigger. That night, Victoria leaked emails, texts, and voicemails from Martin, years of evidence she'd collected but never used. He had berated her, threatened former girlfriends, even manipulated business associates. The next day, the headlines changed. Martin Hill accused by sister of abuse, misconduct. Shocking evidence released. More women speak out against hotel air. One by one, the cracks in Martin's empire started to show. Lila got a call from her father. She didn't answer. The voicemail was short. "You've embarrassed us enough. Don't ever come home." She played it for Ethan, expression unreadable. "Well, I guess that's settled." He walked over and took her hand. "You're not alone anymore, Lila. You've got me. And you've got truth on your side." Later that evening, Victoria joined them with news. Martin's gone underground. PR team is in chaos. Stock is tanking. You hit him where it hurts. Layla let out a long breath. "So this is what freedom feels like." Victoria nodded. "Not perfect. Not painless. But it's yours." Two weeks later, the storm had started to calm. Martin Hale had officially stepped back from public duties at Hale International. Investigations were underway. More women had come forward. And Layla Carter's name was now associated not with scandal, but with strength. But while the world kept spinning, Layla found herself standing still, somewhere between the past she escaped and the future she hadn't yet imagined. She and Ethan walked through Lincoln Park on a warm afternoon, the trees full of life, couples walking dogs and kids playing on the grass. For the first time in weeks, Layla looked relaxed. "I got an offer," she said suddenly. Ethan turned. "From who?" Brighter Voices, a nonprofit that helps women leave abusive relationships. "They want me to speak at their fundraiser, possibly even work with them long term." Ethan smiled. "That's incredible." She nodded slowly. "It is. But it's in San Diego." His smile faded just a little. "I haven't said yes," she added quickly. I don't know what my life is now. Everything feels new. Unwritten." Ethan stopped walking and turned to her. "That's not a bad thing, Layla. You get to choose now. No pressure. No scripts." She looked up at him. "And what about you? Where do you fit in all this?" He paused. "I don't want to hold you back. You've just reclaimed your freedom. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't hoping we'd figure this out together." Layla reached up and touched his cheek. "You didn't just help me hide. You helped me find who I was. That matters." They stood there, a few feet apart, hearts closer than ever. "I don't know what the future looks like," she said honestly, "but I want to find out. With you, if you're willing to try." Ethan smiled. "I've never been more sure about anything." She laughed, the kind of laugh that comes when fear turns into joy. "Then maybe we write the next part of the story together." San Diego, California. The sun dipped low over the ocean, casting golden light across the sand as waves rolled in quietly. A crowd gathered under a white canopy on the beach, where fairy lights sparkled like stars overhead. Layla stood at a podium, wearing a flowing blue dress, confidence in her eyes. A banner behind her read, "Brighter Voices Annual Gala, Empowerment Through Truth." When I ran from my wedding, I thought I was escaping shame. But I was really running toward something, toward truth, toward strength, toward a life I chose, not one that was chosen for me, she said into the mic. The audience applauded, some on their feet, others wiping away tears. And I never would have made it if a stranger on a rainy street hadn't handed me his jacket and said, "I've got you." Her eyes found Ethan, standing at the edge of the crowd, wearing a suit with no tie, hands in his pockets, smiling like he had the day they met, like he knew she'd change everything. After the speech, Layla walked down to where Ethan waited. "You crushed it," he said, wrapping his arms around her. "I didn't cry once," she grinned. New personal record. They walked along the shoreline as people mingled behind them. The night was warm, peaceful. "I signed the lease," she said. "Our apartment's officially ours next month." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Our?" She bumped her shoulder into his. "I figured I'm done running, so I might as well stay where love lives." He leaned in. "You sure about this?" "Absolutely." They stopped walking. The waves whispered behind them. And then, quietly, Ethan pulled a small velvet box from his pocket and held it out. Layla blinked. "Are you serious?" I'm not asking you to be anyone but yourself, he said. And I'm not kneeling, because when we stand side by side, we're already equal. But yes, I'm serious. She opened the box. Inside was a silver ring with a simple sapphire stone. No wedding planners, she whispered. No matching napkins, he promised. No more hiding. Never again. And under the stars, barefoot in the sand, the girl who once ran from a forced wedding said yes to a love she chose.